Hello, my name is Ananya George, and what you're about to see is an illusion. Oh, Ricky! Hello! You caught me at an opportune moment.
So, can you choose a card for me? Pick any card. That one? Sure. Learn it, look at it, memorize it, know what it is, love it, kiss it. Thank you. Put it back in the deck. What was that card?
The Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades? Alright, perfect. So all the cards are facing up, okay? Except for the Ace of Spades. That card's going to be facing down, okay? After I snap my fingers, just like that. All the cards.
Here's the twist. Ricky is not a magician.
We got an Ace of Spades now. I refuse to believe.
But we made you believe that he is.
That's gotta be an Ace of Spades, bro.
Go, check it out.
There's a very precise reason why.
I'm astonished. Yo, I'm confused. Cause he didn't bring any of the cards out, and you know that when a magician, if they're working with cards, they know how to do something slick. But the cards were not moved. We had the invisible cards. That's all we seen.
This is technically voiceover. The art of magic is the art of performative design. Every motion, or lack thereof, exists to conceive a particular observed image, constituting the magical effect. I would consider the creation or curation of these designs to be half of the pre-performance phase of a magical effect. I want you to pick a card. Okay. Any card should be fine. The performances of these designs is the second half of the process, as it usually informs the innovations in methods, while fleshing out the brand, story, or anything you would consider to be the identity of the performer or the magician. The problem is, in my field of magic and illusion design, there are very few innovators on both ends.
Why did your bright envelope that small?
Staples. It's usually either the design or the performance.
It's my card!
I don't ascribe to the idea that only a handful can be creative. That is objectivist malarkey. Nobody is born painting a Picasso or writing a fugue. Creativity is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the better you get at using it. So with this as a premise, I started digging to find out what caused this innovation vacuum. And all my lines of research led me down to the golden age of Western magic, which I'd like to rename the Stolen Age. Our protagonist is a scrappy, unkempt wizard from France, Baudetière de Colta. In the late 1870s, de Colta's magic would be some of the most creative work to have ever graced magic stages. One night, as he performed his famous appearing flowers illusion, a breeze from backstage wafted several of his flowers into the audience. One of the members of the audience was a magician, who discovered that the key to de Colta's trick lay in how he constructed his flowers. It wasn't long until de Colta's ingenious method could be purchased for a few dollars at magic shops without his permission. I wish I could say that this was an isolated incident. This was an insane time for the community. Either magicians were directly buying the rights of tricks from other magicians, or mostly outright stealing them. Hence why I wanted to change the name. This gave rise to the movement of magic without the magician. Unlike my previous work, which experimented with this as a presentational context, the idea at the time suggested that audiences came to watch the tricks and not the magicians themselves. Magicians like Neville Maskelyne reinforced this by franchising illusions. I mean, if people were going to steal secrets anyway, why not give them a channel to obtain them ethically? So in 1886, Baudetière de Colta's Vanishing Lady was one of the first few illusions to be franchised and sold to audiences who were willing to pay. franchised by the same companies who only 16 years ago unethically sold his appearing flowers. Now, there are pros and cons to this system, but I think the advantages only affect a tiny subset of performers who have reached a certain point of enlightenment. For others, the disadvantages kind of weigh heavier. Because of the secrecy within the art form, companies are also how people learn magic. So if you're only learning magic through work that has been franchised, are we learning the art of performative magic at all? That's when my friend Ricky Wood enters our story.
I watched a lot of how-to magic tricks.
Yeah.
Don't remember any of them.
I needed to conduct an experiment to learn how someone with zero experience would instinctively approach learning a magic trick through a franchised effect. My hypothesis was that beginner magicians would be more likely to copy performances because they're not taught to differentiate between the method from the performance within the structure of a franchised effect.
Yeah, I wore them freshman, sophomore year.
Okay.
Losing them.
What card were you thinking of?
Queen of Hearts.
The Queen of Hearts?
Yes.
Do you want to change your mind?
No.
Do you know what's interesting?
Yeah, that's true.
Look at it.
That's crazy.
I don't wear
Yeah,
them.
I'm gonna show you how to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So what's that one? What's that Okay. Easy.
I think that. Looking at how creative Ricky is with his comedy, I thought he'd be the perfect candidate for my study. Surely an experienced performer would be bound to see the difference. Sorry about using you as a guinea pig, my friend. It was for science and hopefully the future of magic. I think you have it. I
I just need to practice.
Yeah. If Ricky were to change up my bare bones presentation of the invisible deck, it would prove without a doubt that just handing a beginner 50% of the pre-performance process creates enough space for them to be as expressive as they'd like to be. If not, then the secret to the trick itself would act as a barricade to expression. Try to find a good balance between like performative magic
Yeah.
and doing the methods and
Yeah.
direction just to be able to do the trick.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions?
No.
In my conversation with Ricky, I focused heavily on performance because I really wanted Ricky to prove me wrong and do something interesting with his presentation. Alright, man.
All right.
I'll see you in a week.
Yeah. I'll see you.
Okay, take care. Then, this happened.
Can you shuffle those for me?
Again,
Take one. Look at it.
and again,
That's imaginary cards.
and again. Ricky's performance was absolutely identical to mine. And I don't think it was by accident. Alright, I have a confession to make.
Okay.
This entire time, I've been doing something that I have not told you about.
All right.
I can't let you walk. Okay, so first, how was this experience for you? What did that feel like?
It was fine.
Do you feel like that process taught you anything about magic as an art form?
Yeah.
What did it teach you?
Just that kind of like is simultaneously easier and harder.
No scientific study would be complete without an independent variable. In this case, me.
Every magic trick kind of has like there's a cheat. It's cheating in a certain way, and the cheat is pretty easy, but also it's difficult because you have to practice how to cheat, right? You have to practice cheating without getting caught. You have to practice cheating without the other person noticing you're cheating, you know? And that's really hard.
The aim of this experiment was to not only test the things I set out to test, but to also create the perfect environment for one audience member to understand exactly what I'm trying to communicate.
Like when you think of magic, like a magic trick, it's like, you know, it's participation from both parties, or it's presentation, or it's the illusion that the person doing this is a magician, you know, as opposed to, because afterwards when you'd be like, oh, I'm the magician, Ricky's actually just a comedian,
Right.
people are kind of like, oh, you know.
Yeah. So you're saying that the magic is almost equal parts the trick itself and also what the magician's perspective is, or what they're trying to say.
Yeah, but so Andy Kaufman getting on stage and doing the Mighty Mouse bit, you know. You don't know the Mighty Mouse bit? Is the joke the whole thing, or is it just the punchline, you know? Is the magic the whole thing, or is it just a trick?
Shit. In the same amount of time that Ricky was learning a version of the invisible deck, I was actually creating and performing mine.
You know how this trick works. Outside this context, this trick would make zero sense.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't really understand the impact unless you knew how the original invisible deck worked.
Okay.
But because you know that there's that presentation of an invisible deck and so on, we're gonna skip that.
Okay.
Because you know what the whole point of the trick is.
Right.
You name a card and one card turns face down in the deck, and that's the card you see.
Right.
Name a card. First name a suit. Clubs,
Okay.
hearts, spades, or diamonds. Whatever you want. And we'll pick that one.
Clubs.
Clubs. Name... Oh, do you want a picture card or a number card? Whatever you name, we'll pick.
Number.
Number.
Yep.
What number?
5 clubs.
You changed your mind from 7.
Yeah, I did.
This entire deck, there's only one card. It was face down the entire time. And the best part is I can show you the back. I'm gonna hide the card from you because I don't want it to reveal yet. And you've seen the back.
Yeah.
It's totally normal.
Yeah.
Under any other context, it wouldn't make sense. But that one card, leave it face down
Okay.
for now.
Okay.
Do you want to inspect the deck?
I do.
You do? Go for it.
Everything you've seen so far has been the only performance of my invisible deck. I assume because the Magic community focuses primarily on technical innovations, we've forgotten what it means to take our audiences on a journey. Tricks are being done without the magician, because the assumption is that if you can do tricks, you're a magician. But that couldn't be further from the truth.
How are we doing on the normalcy test?
This is very normal. This is
Very
very
normal.
normal.
What card did you name?
The 5 clubs.
The magician is a persona, character, or context that a performer needs to curate, however possible, to gain the maximum impact from their performance. To the outside
I don't
world,
understand.
the observable image of my trick is completely indistinguishable from Ricky's, but not to him. Because he went on that journey and understood the context, he saw something that he couldn't explain.
Do you want to know how?
Yes, I do.
It'll blow your mind.
Okay.
When I told him how it's done, let's just say this complete beginner appreciated all my hard work for what it was.
Just for this one moment.
Yeah.
I'm flattered. Get help.
I really hope this was a valuable perspective into the practice. I genuinely want more performers to try and push things forward and experiment with the limits of what's possible. Our art form is all about pushing that boundary anyway, so why is the current zeitgeist limiting our premises and our plots? A huge thanks to my friends Joshua J. Gonzalo Souza and Sanjeev Vinod for giving me their valuable perspective on my original essay. This would have been a completely different movie without their help. Like and subscribe if you like this and want to see more content like it. I'll see you next month, probably. My name's Ananya George. Goodbye and good night.